Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem. I am the Reverend Monica Jacobson. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as minister. We are so glad you are here. Those of you joining us in the sanctuary, those of you joining us online, it takes your choice every week to come and be part of this congregation, to create and recreate and co-create this community. Leading worship with me today are Ann Hannes, Carol Doolittle, and Eleni Smith from our Microfinance team. Dean Hansen is with us as our guest speaker. Eric Schumann is our Lifeline's lay minister. Annie Jocelyn will be joining me for the Time for All Ages. Georgine Young and Edie Anelli are our special musicians. Dave Yackel is on the piano. Lorianne Schmidt is at the tech table, and Doc Hadley made our slides. I know, I speed up as I go on. It takes many people, always, to create our worship services, just as it takes all of us to create our congregation. We have gathered today, as we always gather, as a community of seekers, each and every one of us carrying questions, searching for wisdom and inspiration to help us live lives of meaning and to help us make a difference in a world that needs us so very much. You are welcome here this morning, exactly as you are. Whomever you love, however you understand and express your identities, whatever beliefs sustain you, and in all the ways you are still becoming the person you will be. So let us take a good, deep breath. Feel the air come in and fill your body. Feel it go out. Know that you are here in this gathering. You are connected to all these people. You are not anywhere else right now, which means that whatever is happening in the news, however many early holiday sale emails have landed in your inbox, whatever has gone unwiped down in your kitchen, all of it can wait as we share this time together. So come, let us worship. I invite you to rise in body, in voice, or in spirit for our gathering hymn. It is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. If you'd like, you can take out a gray hymnal, but I do want to let you know, we put back in one of the verses that didn't make it into the hymnal. So when you get to the third verse, be sure you look up at the slides because those words are not in the hymnal, but they will be on the slide for you. Please rise and join in singing. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. You are like no other being. What you can't give, no other can give. To the future of our precious children, to the future of the world where we live. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Thank you. You may be seated. I want to invite you to clap or to dance as you feel moved to do so. I sprained my ankle on Friday, and so I'm not very mobile up here. But if you are more mobile than I am, please clap, dance, lean into the music. It is good for us to do that together. Please join me now as we say our affirmation together. The words are projected up here, and they're printed in your order of service. Love is our doctrine, compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. And Carol Doolittle is going to come help light our chalices. The Unitarian minister Edward Everett Hale wrote, "I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do." We gather in this spirit to do the somethings that we can do. And to remind us that we gather not just as individual people, not only as ones, but as members of this congregation, this gathering of connected people, and in a congregation that is part of a network of congregations across the United States and in more than 30 countries around the world. We light 3 chalices. The one in the center for UUCS, this congregation. The far ceramic one for our partner congregation in Šimenfalva, Transylvania, Romania. And a lantern for the children and youth, not only of this congregation, but everywhere. Because as author and activist Glennon Doyle says, there is no such thing as other people's children. Please join in singing the flames into life. Annie Jocelyn is going to join me this morning. We have something to wonder about. So any children, any youth, or any adults who like to speculate, you're welcome to come forward and see what it is that Annie has brought and if we can figure out what those things are about.
Good morning, kids. How are you guys? Good? So this month, it's November, isn't it? How did that happen? It's about gratitude. Do you guys remember what gratitude is? What's gratitude?
My dad has a song in gratitude in his band.
He has a song about gratitude in his band?
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Does it help him remember what to be thankful for?
It's called dynamic truth.
Awesome. So gratitude is when we're thankful for things, and we can be thankful for big things, and we can be thankful for small things. Okay, now I have a picture of a lady right here, and I have this thing on my phone that lets me go like this. Watch this. We'll have to tell the adults back there what this does. Can you guys see? What does that do? Yeah, so is that like, do you know what that is? What this might be called? Is it called like a magnifying glass? Oh, what does a magnifying glass help us do? It helps us see close up. It helps us see small things. And seeing small things, we might miss it if we don't have a magnifying glass, right? Okay, so what does my picture of this lady and my magnifying glass have in common?
Adults, the picture of a lady is somebody we call the unofficial poet laureate of Unitarian Universalism, if that gives you a hint. Yeah, I heard somebody say Mary Oliver.
Mary Oliver.
We do love the work of Mary Oliver.
Do you guys know what Mary Oliver does? She writes poems, and she helps us remember to notice small things that we should be grateful for. because remembering small things and big things and remembering to be grateful will help our hearts feel happy. Does that make sense? I have a few words here from a poem that she wrote. It says, pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. Do you think we should do that? Yeah? So today, why don't we go and pay attention, be astonished, and then tell about it. Afterwards, you can tell your parents about what we did. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay. All right. Thank you, children. With that, let's go ahead and make the love arch.
Our children's lesson today about the importance of noticing and looking carefully as part of a practice of gratitude contains also teachings that remind me about our practice of social justice. Maybe you've heard some version of this story, which has been circulating with different attributions as to the original creator for decades. Once upon a time, there was a community of people who lived along the banks of a beautiful river. They loved to walk and roll along its banks, enjoying the sparkle of the light on the water and the splash of the occasional jumping fish. They listened to birds call. At dusk, they watched the bats swoop over the river, catching bugs. And one day, as some of the people in this community were on the banks of the river, they saw a baby floating downstream. "Oh no," the people cried. "We have to help." 2 people jumped in and swam out to where the baby was, and others gathered warm blankets, and they got some milk, and they figured out a foster family for the baby. Whew. The next day, as a different 5 or 6 people were walking along the banks of the river, they saw 2 babies floating downstream. Well, they acted quickly again. These were people who were not just going to wait on shore when they could do something to help. But every day, there were more babies in the river to rescue. The community got very organized. They got very good at rescuing babies. They set up a schedule of rotating shifts. They built a raft and kept it anchored right there so they could quickly row out. They created a shelter close to the river so all those cold, wet babies could be taken in quickly and warmed up. And after some time, when the community gathered to review their schedule for baby watch in the river, one person said, "I think there is something else we need to do, something important." "What?" asked the exhausted coordinator. "What else should we be doing?" "Well, our system is great for rescuing the babies. Don't get me wrong," the person said. "We can be very proud of what we are doing to help, but I think a few of us should go upstream and find out why the babies are falling in the river in the first place." This story reminds us that our social justice work needs both elements. We have a call to help those who are in crisis or under attack, and we have a call to figure out what we can do to make it less likely that a crisis or an attack will occur. As the poet Warsan Shir wrote, "No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark." What is it that we can do to make it possible for those who wish to stay in their homes to stay in their homes. Well, one thing we can do is invest in our micro-lending program, because we know that microloans are an incredibly effective way to support the creation of better lives, of paths out of poverty, without requiring people to leave their homes. And in these days of cruel and rampant persecution of immigrants, one thing to do upstream is to help folks who want to stay in their homes to be able to stay there with hope and possibility for the future. It is a something we can do. And each year we gather for a microfinance service. And I am grateful to our microfinance team for helping us to keep on doing it.
Thank you so much, Georgiana and Edie, for enriching our souls at the beginning of this service. It is truly appreciated. My name is Eric Schumann. I am one of your Lifeline's lay ministers, and we're fellow members of this congregation who are here to help people in times of need. You can identify us by lavender badges and sometimes by lavender stoles as well. One of our duties is to share the joys and sorrows which you have shared with us, because we know that our sorrows can be lightened, even a little bit, and joys that are shared can be magnified. There's another way of symbolizing what we share and hold together, not just candles, but for each joy or sorrow, we can have a stone, a small piece of earth strong enough to carry someone's joy and someone's story. The stones go into a bowl of water. The water symbolizes this community, and it reminds us of joining our waters in our fall ingathering. And it's each stone goes into the water, the ripples that form remind us that each life touches us all. I believe Reverend Monica has the first to share.
I do. From our Microfinance team, a stone of concern and remembrance for Sambat Sampon, an internationally acclaimed community development worker, prominent member of Lao civil society, and founding director of our Microfinance partner organization in Laos. Sambat was abducted at a police checkpoint in 2012 and has not been seen since. We remember. And I believe we have an image of Sambat to show as well. Yeah. Thank you.
From Sharon Carey, both a joy and a sorrow. My best friend from 4th grade, yes, we've all been in a lot of trouble and it's all her fault, was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. She's had 2 chemotherapy injections and is tolerating it with just a few side effects. That makes me happy. Please send healing energy her way. And from one of our friends, each day is technically fine, yet each day I feel how much closer I am to homelessness. From Greg, Marge French has been in the hospital for about a week. Please keep her in your hearts and your minds. One of our most treasured and oldest members, and really a bedrock of this community. And finally, we place one more stone for all the joys and sorrows carried in our hearts.
Sorry, one more.
One more.
Yeah. And we place a stone also of mixed sorrow and gratitude for the life of Lorna Youngs, a strong member of this congregation who, among her many contributions, created beautiful quilts, which are sold each year as part of the Microfinance fundraiser. Some of her work will be available in the fellowship hall during coffee hour. We say Lorna's name and remember her life and her contributions.
And one final stone for all the joys and sorrows carried in our hearts but unspoken this morning.
Will you join with me in a moment of reflection, centering, prayer, and grounding? We gather in the midst of these times of manufactured chaos and hardship, and we pause to hold space for all that we are feeling as we are present to the struggles in our community and in our world. Let us breathe, and as we do, let us hold in love and compassion all those who are afraid, those who fear immigration raids, those whose food assistance has been reduced or withheld, those in need of heating assistance which may be denied, those who worry about losing their housing. We breathe. And as we breathe, we hold in love and compassion all whose dignity is threatened by the denial of gender markers on passports and the threat, once again, of the revocation of marriage equality. Some of these people we hold are us. Some who we hold are dear to us, and many are people we may never meet, but to whom we are connected. We breathe and we hold space for our grief at the state of our country. We hold space for our anger when those called public servants choose actions that do not serve the people of this country. We breathe and we hold space for our resolve that we may do our parts to work for change. We breathe and we hold space for our despair when we are overwhelmed by the magnitude of all that is wrong, unjust, and painful. We remember, as we breathe together, the power of our connections, of strengthening each other when we are tired, when we are afraid. No one of us can do everything, but together we can do something that makes a difference in the lives we touch. Let us breathe together for a few moments in silence. May all of our hearts and minds open even a little wider, that more of our love and compassion may come forth into the world. As you remain seated, you are invited to join in singing hymn number 134, Our World is One World.
yesterday, Carol Doolittle sent me a fascinating article about Barack Obama's mother, Anne, who, as an anthropologist, researched the poor in Indonesia. Similarly, Carol, too, has worked as a sociologist and anthropologist and studied women silk weavers, which this scarf is weavers, in Laos, and connected our committee with Sambat's nonprofit PADECT, where we had our first successful microfinance project. Now, Anne published her doctoral dissertation, nearly 1,000 pages, on rural Indonesian blacksmithing and cottage industries. It was a fundamental challenge to how the Western world thought about poverty and development. The prevailing wisdom at the time, and this was in the 70s and 80s, so not all that long ago, was that poor people in developing countries were poor because of their culture. They were supposedly lazy, didn't understand business, and needed to adopt Western ways. Anne's research demolished this patronizing view. She showed that rural people were sophisticated business operators who understood their markets, managed complex production systems, and supported extended family networks. They weren't poor because they were backward. They were poor because they lacked access to credit, fair markets, and an economic infrastructure. Anne then proceeded to put her research into practice by working with microfinance organizations and providing loans to rural women. She viewed these loans as investments in people systematically excluded from traditional banking because they were poor, rural, and female. Now I want to show you a video clip from one of our other past partners, Chennai organization, who continues to use microfinance and rotate those funds that we originally gave them to benefit poor people in the high altiplano of Peru. We are showing only a portion of the clip dealing with microfinance due to time constraints today, but the full video clip is posted on our Microfinance UUCS website and also talks about how Chennai not only provides microfinance loans, but they've also started, interestingly, a community savings program. So please note that the video is in Spanish, but there are subtitles.
En las zonas rurales del altiplano peruano, en el departamento de Puno, Perú, a más de 3.500 metros sobre el nivel del mar, miles de familias trabajan cada día en actividades como la agricultura, la cual es de subsistencia, crianza de ganado vacuno, ovino y de alpacas, producción de artesanía, cerámica y textil, las cuales son sus principales fuentes de ingreso. Desde el año 2005, la Fundación Chignaya viene trabajando con comunidades y asociaciones rurales del departamento de Puno en proyectos de desarrollo integral. Uno de estos programas es el modelo de microcréditos basado en fondos rotatorios, los cuales son administrados por las mismas comunidades. Este sistema nace de la confianza y se sostiene con la participación activa de todos los beneficiarios. Los fondos rotatorios son pequeños préstamos a corto plazo que circulan dentro de la comunidad, invirtiéndose en distintos proyectos y permitiendo que los mismos recursos beneficien a múltiples familias. Son la semilla que inicia el crecimiento. Comenzamos en una sola localidad, hoy somos una red de 49 miembros entre comunidades y organizaciones en las que se trabaja proyectos de desarrollo integral. El proceso en los fondos rotatorios es participativo. Las comunidades priorizan sus proyectos, reciben fondos y los administran con total autonomía. Ellos deciden la tasa de interés, los plazos de pago y las sanciones. No se piden garantías complicadas. Todo está basado en la palabra, la confianza y el compromiso de la comunidad. El programa de fondos rotatorios fueron un primer paso vital, pero con el tiempo revelaron una limitación.
And this is where they go on to talk a bit about the community savings program that works hand in hand with microfinance. So If you'd like to learn more about that, you can go on to our website. It has been very gratifying to see that our microfinance projects in countries around the world continue to make a difference to the lives of the poorest of the poor since the inception of our UUCS microfinance projects in 2008. Your generosity has made this happen. I am very pleased to introduce our speaker today, Dean Hansen. Dean has been involved with the NEOfund since the very beginning, working alongside Ron Hockley, who some of you may have also seen speak to our congregation, and supporting the mission from day one. He officially joined the board in 2023, and in 2024, he had the opportunity to visit our programs in Nicaragua and Guatemala. Seeing the progress since our early development efforts in La Chorreca was incredibly moving. It also reignited his passion to continue pushing the work forward, knowing there's still so much to be done and so many lives we can impact. Thank you, Dean.
And thank you for inviting me here today. It's an honor to meet you personally and express my appreciation for your partnership over these past several years. I want to dedicate my comments today to Lorna Youngs, your dear sister who made those quilts you auctioned off to support NEOfund. Her life had significance, and her legacy of giving is at the heart of who you choose to be. When I was asked to serve on the NEOfund board, I had to ask why. We have people who have significant international experience, and those who are experts in marketing and accounting and fundraising, your own, and a former state economist. I have none of that. What I do have is the ability to get things done and find solutions. I'm just stubborn enough not to stop when things get hard. So the vision and mission of NEOfund, it moves me. Out of all the things I can give my purpose to, this speaks loudly to me. Our vision is a world where all parents, regardless of race or religion, have an opportunity to provide for their children's nutrition, health, and education, resulting in stronger communities for everyone. As a dad and a grandpa, this hits me deeply. We are not a faith-based organization that requires everybody follow these religious guidelines. We accept everyone that comes to us. Our borrowers are not the elite. They are mostly women looking for ways to take care of their families. They want a future just like you do. They want a better life for their kids than they had growing up, just like you. And our mission is a scalable, sustainable, nonprofit model of microfinance that provides hope and transformation to the poorest of the poor and helps create a dignified lifestyle for their family. Dignity is the heart of how we operate. As I'll share later, our early ventures failed miserably because we focused more on feeling good about what we did than in actually doing good. When you give money to somebody, no matter how well-intentioned, it creates an imbalance. It sets you up as the rescuer, and the person becomes the lucky recipient of your generosity. There's no balance in that, and there's no dignity. Through our loan program, people take what they need, they invest in their businesses, and they grow, and they pay it back. There is no inequality, and its place is a pride and a sense of accomplishment. And while we strive to be sustainable, we also recognize that the people we loan funds to have often been turned down by others. They're risky, but that comes with the territory when you choose to serve the poorest of the poor. It was in early 2008 that our minister, Ron Hockley, and a friend went to visit Nicaragua. And they had no idea at the time what was in store for them. A local minister took them to a city dump outside Managua in La Chorreca. It's a slang term for the dump and the people who sift through the garbage every day. Until you've been in that circumstance, you cannot comprehend the assault on your senses. Every day, loads of garbage and food waste are brought in from the city. The sun cooks the steaming piles of debris, and the most wretched fluids spill out underneath. The air is heavy with the smell of death and decay. Ron watched as young teens and adults picked through every piece of garbage, trying to find something of value to sell. Those who were too young played soccer with a taped-up ball, oblivious to the hell surrounded them. One young girl, through an interpreter, asked Ron if he would push her on the swing. Tears fell down his face as he gently pushed this girl, and she was only 6. And he asked her guide, "What will happen to her? To any of them? What hope do they have?" The minister responded honestly. She, pointing at the girl, will be pregnant by the time she's 12. She will most likely raise money by taking care of the truck drivers. There was no question about what that meant. The boy, he'll be using drugs and most likely be dead by 20. Some questions are better left unasked, because once you know the answer, it never leaves you alone. When Ron left, those answers burned inside him, and when he came back to our small congregation, he shared his hurt, their struggles, and shared their vision. And like any new vision, we burst out with energy and intent. We met with the leaders. We sent groups down for fact-finding missions. We brought gifts and candy for the children. We mourned for the sick and the dying and the victimized. We started food programs and made alliances to start a small preschool. We hired a nurse. We bought shoes and changed nothing. See, it looked good for a little while, but the moment the flow of support stopped, everything returned to despair. We had to find a sustainable way of providing support that brought real change. We had given fish and we had fed them. We needed to teach them to fish. In 2009, we began exploring the idea of providing microloans to help individuals help themselves. We dispense funds with no real understanding of the complexity of poverty. It's not fixed by waving some magic wand and dispensing funds with no sense of purpose. We learned quickly that we knew nothing about this kind of fishing, and we needed a guide. We were fortunate to meet with Dr. Francisco Barquero, a scholar and a PhD and focused on microfinance. He worked with us, changed the way we worked, changed the whole purpose of NEOfund Nicaragua. We had a revolving loan fund after a few years of nearly $80,000 with hundreds of loans out, and we began to see real difference taking place in the lives of our borrowers. It was an exciting time, and it seemed like the sky was the limit. But then, in 2018, everything started to fall apart. Violent unrest in Nicaragua, then COVID, disruption of literally thousands of nonprofit organizations in Nicaragua. It felt like all of our dreams were coming to an end, and piece by piece, everything fell apart, and our staff left, our borrowers were left unable to do anything, and our morale was at an all-time low. It was then, in 2023, that Ron invited me to serve on the board, and I officially joined NEOfund as the board president. We had a tremendous amount of work ahead of us. In the last few years, we developed an almost entirely new board, including your amazing Anne. With the wisdom and passion each brought from their own backgrounds, we pushed forward. We strengthened our position in Nicaragua. We rebuilt the local teams with an amazing group of leaders with servant hearts. We expanded into Guatemala and then into India. And it's hard work, and we're all volunteers. But like you, we want kids to eat better, to go to school, to go to a doctor when they're sick and be able to buy medicine. We do it because we want this cycle of poverty to be broken forever. And there are a lot of microlending institutions in countries like Nicaragua, where availability to regular bank accounts is limited based on financial security. What makes NEOfund different is our focus. No offense to the gentleman here, but funds provided to men generally are not successful. Their focus was rarely on the betterment of their family. We found instead that loans to women and mothers were the best way to effect change. These women had seen the suffering in their children's eyes from hunger, from sickness with no access to health care. They wanted better, but they had no way to get there. Like Sylvia in this picture, she wanted more for herself and for others, but in a wheelchair, there was nothing available for her. We provided funds so that she could buy some office supplies for local businesses. That became so popular, she was able to buy a fax and a printer with a second loan. She has now reached out to other wheelchair-bound people and started showing them ways to care for themselves. One thing after another after another to serve a community. With no support from the government, she has taken the training she received from NEOfund and is transforming the lives of others. To begin this process, we need to understand poverty, what it is and what it does to a person. Transforming lives comes down to what we can see and measure to some extent. We don't ask the typical finance questions. We want to know about their living conditions. My wife and I have 6 children. They've always had a roof over their heads, food in their stomach, and access to excellent health care. What I take for granted is an unimaginable dream for so many of these people. We seek to awaken dreams and give wings to hope. But it's not what we do. It's what they do when given a chance that you have given them. The process is simple. We begin by introducing ourselves. We share what we do and who we are and why we are different. Most people are understandably reluctant. Those that provide microfinance loans down there charge up to 80% per month. And so people borrow money and have no ability to pay it back, and they're stuck in this cycle of payments and payments and payments forever. Every penny goes to simply pay off their debt, but the word of mouth gets around that we walk a new path. If someone is curious, we begin with assessments. You guys have all taken out loans, you know what that's like, but we ask different questions. What kind of floors do you have? Are they bare dirt or wood? Do you even have walls? Are they plastic, sheet metal, scrap materials? Do you have a bathroom or running water? Do you have a toilet? Is it a pit in the backyard or a wooden latrine? How many children do you have, and can they read or write? How often can you feed them? Poverty takes on a very different look when you examine the need for questions like that. The next step is to ask about the loan itself. How can we serve you? What do you need? How can we help you to be successful? And there's no computer system to review this. We have local men and women who go by bicycle and foot and little motor scooter from village to village to meet with the people, find out what their real needs are and how we can support them. At this point, we serve 13 different villages, have over 600 active loans. Since the beginning, we've provided over 4,400 loans, averaging only $260 a piece. $260, that's nothing to us. To them, it is life-changing. 94% of these loans go to women. Nearly all our borrowers are mothers, and about half of them are single, with no resources to care for their families. These women have the same hopes and dreams as you, to feed and clothe their children and provide a future for them. But those hopes don't survive forever without encouragement. That's the next part of our program. Once a loan has been established, we keep going. We provide business training on how to keep books and how to track sales. We teach them about inventory management. We teach them how to pay for supplies so they know what price they should sell things for. We connect them with resources so they can do bulk purchasing and share resources. We work diligently to help them take better steps toward a better future. The loans we provide are the lowest rates in the country. That is not a slogan, that is a fact. We provide flexible repayment plans and ongoing support. We know first-time borrowers are going to struggle, and we accept that risk. But with our program, we see close to 90% repayment of the loans. And people are excited, and they're proud. We see their lives transformed, and that's all done locally in those countries. So what is the role of NEOfund USA? We're a 501c3 organization. We operate with integrity. We have a 93% four-star rating from Charity Navigator, one of the largest online evaluation groups for nonprofit organizations. Almost all of the members are from Salem and Portland. We volunteer our time to work with groups just like you to connect supporters with the needs, and we have one goal: to raise funds to keep these programs moving forward. Because our rates are so low and the size of the loans is so small, the system doesn't pay for itself. We're about 40% sustainable in Nicaragua. We need support from people like you, people who want to make a difference. Our program provides women with the opportunity to pursue entrepreneurial endeavors and generate family income. You guys have heard the story about the man at the beach throwing starfish into the water. What difference does it make, the man asks. It makes a difference to this one as he tosses it back into the water. Poverty, the kind of poverty we've spoken about this morning, is worldwide. Attempts to change it seem so limited, and the task can seem overwhelming. For many years, it's easier just to throw up your hands and walk away, but you, my friends, chose to make a difference, and the lives of the people you support will never be the same. Those who had no floors or a roof or walls now have a home safe from the elements. They have running water and electricity, and instead of wondering how their children would be fed that day, they make meal plans a week in advance. Their children go to school and they learn and they help out with the family business. They can do this because you believed their lives were worth touching. People like Maria and Cristo Rey in Nicaragua. She lives with her husband. They used to work together to scrape enough food for the day, and she wanted to run a small market from their home. But every attempt failed. They borrowed the money and could only pay back the interest month after month after month. They lost everything. Her daughter had a loan from NEOfund and told her about it. She was reluctant, but she agreed to talk with us. Last year, as I said, several of us went down and got to speak with her. She had used her loan from NEOfund to buy men's and women's clothes and shoes and a few basic food items that she could sell out of the front of their house. As she talked, she sat beside her husband, who lay on a dirty mattress on a dirt floor. He's been very ill. Slowly, he is gaining strength because he now has the medicines. Earlier, he would have died. There's just no doubt about it. She spoke through an interpreter of what it meant to have a future for the both of them, to afford medicine and talk about plans to grow their business. She was called away to help a customer. Before I left, I knelt down beside her husband and I held his hand and I spoke out words of prayer, of love and encouragement. We didn't know each other's language, but we shared the universal message of fellowship. Tears ran down both our faces as we parted, knowing that better days were ahead. When we visited Reina in Guatemala last year in Comalapa, she was dressed in her finest Mayan clothes. She had made them on a loom that we helped her buy. She was so anxious to invite us in. Through an interpreter, she said she had never had a guest in her house before. Her husband had left her and took her oldest son, leaving her with no heir and no way to care for herself or two daughters. She'll probably never see them again. Her tears began in grief, but soon turned to tears of joy as she talked about what it meant to work with NEOfund. With her first loan, she bought some basic materials, some yarn. She began weaving, and when she was able to pay that back early, she secured a larger loan to buy an actual loom. Using the lessons her mother had taught her about their history, she weaved her life and her culture into every piece she created. As she now takes orders for special request dresses. And with the proceeds, she can purchase more and more material. She's even been able to hire others from the community to be able to help her. She was so proud of what she had achieved. No lack of dignity there. Her 16-year-old daughter showed us how she had learned to use the loom, and piece by piece they pulled out the scarves and the dresses they had made. Her eyes were sparkling with life and hope. Her children were healthy and well-fed, and when they laughed, the skies opened up and filled that empty home with warmth and love and joy. And you did that. You made that possible. With all my heart, I bring back the message from all these starfish that you saved. Thank you. Gracias a Dios for your compassionate hearts, your desire for justice and dignity, your desire to move beyond the comfort of your homes to provide hope for the future and a real change in the lives of these families. The hope in their eyes, the pride in their hearts, the tears turn to joy. That change is what we do together. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Eleni Smith, and I'm not sure how to follow this. I've worked overseas missions as well, and he's right. the difference you make, even if you make a difference in one person's life, it is life-changing for you. And when you get to see it, it's amazing. So I'm here to talk about your ability to participate in this wonderful program. And it occurred to me when I was thinking about this how gratitude and generosity are so closely linked. There's generosity we experience when someone does something nice for us just out of the kindness of their heart, just to be helpful. And we are grateful when that happens. I want to mention Lorna Youngs again because she demonstrated a generosity for which our microfinance team is forever grateful. Her support of our group, she was a member for a while, she's always supported us. Her belief in the goodness of our mission has been demonstrated on multiple occasions. You can see examples of her work, her generosity in the hall today. And what her talent and generosity gives us is the opportunity to be generous. And we are grateful for that opportunity. The quilts that Lorna has made are in the hall and will be available for silent auction starting now, and will conclude, if we have any left, next Sunday at the end of coffee service. You'll see a minimum opening bid, and then there is the buy it now amount. So today, if you don't want to participate in this silent auction, if you want to buy it now, you can pay and take it home. You'll be very happy you did. If you just want to make a donation, you can go to the UUCS Donate webpage. Be sure to click on Donate and select Microfinance in the pull-down menu for a one-time donation. You can also write us a check, but in the corner, please be sure you put Microfinance so it goes directly to our group. In the hall, there's also a collection of pins, brooches, made by a woman called Lucinda who lives in Maine. She constructs these very colorful, very interesting pins for a variety of causes. She supports breast cancer, and these are pins of little houses. And when she made these pins, all of her money went to homeless support. And so now we're going to try to sell these again so that for a second time, that support can be distributed based on these little pins. We're asking just $15 for those pins. And there's a variety of other smaller things if you're interested in, donating us. We, as the microfinance team, would like to thank everyone for their generous donations that so directly impact those who are in need of support and encouragement. And I would like those members of our team to stand up and be recognized here just for a quick minute, please, guys. Because they work very hard. And lastly, I want to thank the NEOfund for partnering with us, giving us and the UUCS the opportunity to demonstrate our generosity. Thank you for anything you do.
Maybe my sound is not on? My sound is on. Excellent. I invite you to join me in saying the words for giving thanks. They are printed in your order of service or they're up here on the screen. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our many gifts, including these offerings. I'm going to invite Carol back up to come and help light our social justice lantern and release our flames. Just as we kindle this chalice at the beginning of worship, we light a social justice lantern to symbolize the way we carry the light, the commitment, the passion for a better world forth from our services. As we light our lantern and then release the flames of our chalices, I want to share with you once more the words of my colleague, the Reverend Kim Crawford Harvey, who for many years ended every service by saying, "The service begins when the service ends." Let us remain steadfast in our commitment to make the difference that we can make. And while Carol extinguishes the flames, I have just a couple announcements for you. As always, there are lots of things going on. Some of them are on the back of the order of service. Many of them are in the Friday email updates. A couple highlights. Today, following the service, we have our Microfinance quilt sale. We also have an opportunity to place orders for Christmas wreaths and centerpieces made by the women of the farm workers cooperative Mujeres Luchadoras Progresistas. My Spanish is terrible, I apologize. I'm working on it. Duolingo is trying to help me. So there will be an opportunity to place orders now and in the coming weeks for wreaths and centerpieces that support the women of this cooperative. There is a QR code at the social justice table if you are moved to make a financial donation to Marion Polk Food Share. It's so wonderful to overflow the wagon each week, and also we know that people who operate food banks often have a way to stretch dollars and make them go further. It's okay. I just won't get the wording exactly the way John wrote it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, $1 can provide 3 meals through the purchasing power of the food bank. So that is an opportunity. And finally, within our walls, once a month, we hold some kind of opportunity to come and engage with what is going on the, what I call the administry level, the way we care for our congregation through our administration, through the leadership of our board and the work of our committees. And today it is a forum with our Committee on Human Resources. So if you have any questions about what we are doing to be a good employer and how our Committee on Human Resources operates, you're welcome to join our chair, Meryl McKeon, and I will be here, and that'll be in the sanctuary at noon. I believe that is all the announcements I intended to make, and not seeing any desperately waving hands, I think that is correct. So I would like to invite you to rise one final time in body, in voice, or in spirit to join in singing hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses, 1st, 3rd, and 5th verses. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving, receiving, as love shows us how. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now, my vision of now, while you remain risen, I invite you to join in saying our closing words. They are on the slide. They are printed in your order of service. If you are comfortable joining hands or touching elbows with someone near you, you're welcome to do so. If you'd rather not, you can simply give a nod, maybe place your hands over your heart as we say together, may faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come. Go in peace.